Imagine waking up on a crystal clear September morning where everything feels calm, ordinary, and untouched by chaos. Millions of New Yorkers were starting their day with coffee, subways, and meetings, unaware their world was about to change forever. And then it happened, a deafening roar, a shadow in the sky. At 8:46 a.m. on September the 11th, 2001, American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 16 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 struck the South Tower live on television screens across the globe. New York, no, the entire world stood frozen in collective disbelief. Two towers that once scraped the heavens were now burning from within. For decades, the Twin Towers had defined the New York skyline. Completed in 1973, the World Trade Center wasn't just a feat of engineering. It was a symbol of ambition, modernity, and power. Standing 110 stories high, the towers were among the tallest buildings on Earth, holding over 50,000 workers and welcoming millions of visitors annually. Each tower was built to stand strong, with its outer steel columns capable of withstanding incredible stress. But no one imagined an attack like this. 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapses. 10:28 a.m., the North Tower follows. In a matter of minutes, 110 stories crumbled to the ground. What took 7 years to build was destroyed in less than 2 hours. A toxic cloud of smoke, ash, and debris engulfed lower Manhattan, turning daylight into dusk. When the dust settled, Ground Zero was unrecognizable. The numbers were staggering: 2,977 innocent lives lost, 1.8 million tons of debris sprawled across 16 acres, billions of dollars in damages. The scale of destruction was so vast that many questioned, how do you rebuild something like this? Should you rebuild at all? But as the world mourned, a quiet determination began to rise. In the words of then Mayor Rudy Giuliani, "We're going to rebuild. We're going to come out stronger than before. New York is the greatest city in the world. Nothing will ever bring us down." Before rebuilding could even be considered, there was an urgent mission: clear the debris, recover the fallen, and restore hope. The effort to clean Ground Zero began almost immediately. It was led by thousands of first responders, firefighters, and police officers, ironworkers, nicknamed the Cowboys of Ground Zero, close quote, who climbed through twisted steel to dismantle it piece by piece, and volunteers, ordinary people who showed up with shovels, masks, and bottled water. For 8 months, they worked tirelessly, day and night. The cleanup was not without danger. Toxic air filled with asbestos, lead, and concrete dust posed serious health risks. Fires smoldered beneath the rubble for weeks. Rescue workers described Ground Zero as hell on earth, but amid the devastation were moments of incredible humanity. A firefighter finding a steel cross among the debris, a symbol of hope for many. Rescue dogs tirelessly searching for survivors and bringing comfort to workers. Families leaving photos, letters, and flowers on makeshift memorials. It wasn't just a cleanup, it was an act of defiance. New York was already rebuilding its spirit. By May 2002, Ground Zero was cleared. But what now? The question of how to rebuild the World Trade Center was one that sparked fierce debates. Should it remain a memorial to honor the fallen? Should it be rebuilt exactly as it was? Or should something new, a bold vision for the future, rise from the ashes? The stakes were high. Whatever replaced the Twin Towers wouldn't just be a building, it would be a symbol, a statement to the world that America had overcome. And so began one of the most ambitious and emotional construction projects in history. A project that would take over a decade, billions of dollars, and a collaboration of the world's greatest minds and hands. How do you design a building that carries the weight of a city's grief and its hope? At Ground Zero, the dust had cleared, but in its place lay a profound silence. The world watched with bated breath as architects, planners, and leaders faced an impossible question: what could possibly rise from this emptiness? What began as sketches and ideas would transform into one of the most ambitious architectural visions in history. In 2002, an international design competition was launched to determine the future of Ground Zero. Over 5,000 architects from around the world submitted proposals. Each design told a story. Some honored the past, others embraced the future, but one name rose above them all: Daniel Libeskind. Libeskind, a Polish-American architect and Holocaust survivor, was no stranger to designing in the shadow of tragedy. His proposal struck a delicate balance between memorial and rebirth. At the heart of his plan was a bold, symbolic structure, the Freedom Tower, standing at exactly 1,776 feet, a nod to the year of America's independence. It would reclaim New York's skyline and send a message of resilience to the world. It wouldn't just scrape the sky, it would touch history. Libeskind's plan also included a national September 11 memorial to honor the victims, new skyscrapers, each designed by the world's top architects, a transportation hub, something futuristic, almost dreamlike, to reconnect Lower Manhattan. But this vision didn't come without struggle. From the very start, rebuilding the World Trade Center was controversial. Families of the victims wanted a space that honored the fallen, something sacred. Business leaders wanted to restore Lower Manhattan as a global economic hub. Politicians debated symbolism, security, and funding. Even the architects clashed. Libeskind's Freedom Tower design was beautiful but impractical. Enter David Childs, the lead architect from the firm Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. Childs brought a pragmatic approach. He reimagined Libeskind's vision, creating a design that was both stunning and structurally sound. The result was a modern glass-encased One World Trade Center, sleek, strong, and secure. A spire that would soar into the heavens, reaching the symbolic 1,776 feet. While tensions flared behind closed doors, one thing was clear: the world expected perfection. On April 27, 2006, construction officially began on One World Trade Center. But the task was daunting. Ground Zero was unlike any construction site in the world. The land was filled with subterranean obstacles, train tunnels, utilities, and water tables that had to be carefully navigated. The ground was sacred. Workers were reminded daily of the human cost beneath their feet. There was also the matter of security. The new towers needed to be more than beautiful. They had to be fortresses. To achieve this, engineers introduced revolutionary safety measures: a 200-foot concrete base to prevent truck bomb attacks, extra-wide stairwells to ensure rapid evacuations, a state-of-the-art air filtration system to handle biohazards. And let's not forget the emotional toll on workers. Many were survivors or had lost loved ones on 9/11s. For them, every rivet, every beam carried a deeper meaning. This wasn't just a job, it was a promise. Slowly, steel by steel, One World Trade Center began to rise. By 2008, the building's skeleton emerged from the ground like a phoenix reborn. Workers called it the giant as it grew higher and higher into the sky. At its peak, over 10,000 workers were involved in the rebuilding process. Steel columns weighing tons were lifted hundreds of feet into the air. Concrete, reinforced to withstand disasters, was poured with painstaking precision. At times, progress seemed impossible. The 2008 financial crisis threatened to halt construction. Bureaucracy and delays pushed timelines further, but the workers pressed on, guided by the same words that had defined New York since 9/11s: never forget. While One World Trade Center climbed into the clouds, something equally powerful was taking shape below. The National September 11 Memorial was designed to honor the victims and create a space for reflection. At the center of the memorial are two massive reflecting pools. Each pool sits on the exact footprint of the original Twin Towers. Water cascades into a seemingly endless void, symbolizing loss, memory, and hope. Surrounding the pools are the names of every victim, etched into bronze panels. As sunlight hits the names, they seem to glow, a quiet, eternal tribute. The memorial opened on September 11, 2011, exactly 10 years after the attacks. Visitors described it as overwhelming, a place of sadness but also of peace. For many, it was a place to begin healing. By 2012, One World Trade Center was nearly complete. The glass facade gleamed in the sunlight, reflecting the city it was built to honor. But one final step remained, the moment that would cement its place in history: the installation of the spire, the final piece that would push the tower's height to 1,776 feet. Would they pull it off? And how would the world react when the new tower finally stood tall over Manhattan? The year is 2013. At 1,700 feet above the ground, the skyline of New York holds its breath. A massive spire weighing 758 tons is lifted into the heavens, inch by inch, as workers watch with white-knuckled focus. The spire, a gleaming beacon, is the final piece of a decade-long dream. When it locks into place, One World Trade Center will officially become the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. The world watches, and then, it happens, the spire settles into position, the workers cheer, the city erupts, and the world finally sees it. One World Trade Center, 1,776-foot symbol of hope, rebirth, and resilience. On November 3, 2014, the doors of One World Trade Center officially opened to the public. It wasn't just a building, it was a statement: we are here, we are stronger, we will never be defeated. But what makes One World Trade Center so extraordinary? Its glass facade reflects the city's skyline like a shimmering mirror. The structure tapers elegantly as it rises, giving the illusion of a perfect octagon at its base and a pure square at its peak, a design that blends strength and beauty. At night, the building glows like a lighthouse, its spire illuminated as a beacon of hope for millions. Engineers incorporated revolutionary safety features to ensure it was the most secure skyscraper ever built, a concrete core thicker than any tower before it, high-speed elevators that can switch to evacuation mode in seconds, fireproof materials and systems designed to withstand unimaginable scenarios. Every aspect of One World Trade Center is symbolic. The height, 1,776 feet, isn't just a number, it's a tribute to America's independence, freedom, and unbreakable spirit. The tower's name, One World Trade Center, close quote, echoes the unity and hope that emerged after the attacks. As the first tenants moved into the tower in 2014, the emotional impact could be felt across the city. Companies that had once occupied the original Twin Towers returned to One WTC, a powerful statement of resilience. New Yorkers, for the first time in over a decade, saw a skyline that felt whole again. For those who worked there, it was more than an office, it was an experience. The views from the One World Observatory, located on the 100th to 102nd floors, offer a breathtaking panorama of New York City. It's as if the tower itself invites visitors to look out and reflect on the journey, both theirs and the city's. From the ashes of tragedy, New York had reclaimed its place in the clouds. Directly below One World Trade Center sits the National September 11 Memorial and Museum, a place of remembrance and reverence. The 9/11 Memorial Museum, which opened on May 21, 2014, is a profound tribute to the victims and heroes of September 11. Artifacts recovered from Ground Zero, twisted steel beams, a damaged fire truck, and personal items tell the harrowing story of that day. Recordings of final phone calls, survivor accounts, and news broadcasts echo through the halls, reminding visitors of the human cost. And at the heart of it all, the survivor tree, a single kauri pear tree that was found among the rubble, burned, broken, but alive. It was nursed back to health and replanted at the memorial, where it now stands as a living symbol of resilience. One World Trade Center isn't just a building, it's a symbol recognized around the world. It tells a universal story of hope, recovery, and triumph over tragedy. For New Yorkers, it's a source of pride. For the world, it's proof that even in our darkest moments, humanity can rebuild. When people look at One World Trade Center, they don't just see steel and glass. They see the strength of the workers who built it, the courage of the first responders who ran toward danger, the unity of a city and a nation that refused to be broken. Imagine standing at the base of One World Trade Center today, looking up at its towering frame. You can almost feel its story, the sorrow of loss, the struggle to rebuild, and the triumph of hope. This tower is a reminder that even the worst tragedies cannot defeat the human spirit. It reminds us that we are capable of rebuilding not just buildings, but our lives, our dreams, and our futures. 20 years after the attacks, Ground Zero has been transformed. The World Trade Center site now buzzes with life, commerce, and visitors from around the globe. The One World Observatory hosts millions of guests, offering them a view that stretches beyond the city, a view of endless possibility. The memorial and museum welcomes those seeking understanding, closure, and inspiration. The site itself has become a symbol of resilience, a message that echoes across generations. No matter how hard we fall, we can always rise again. As you reflect on the story of the World Trade Center's rebuilding, ask yourself, what does resilience mean to you? How can you turn loss into strength, adversity into triumph? The rebuilding of the World Trade Center is not just about a city or a skyline, it's about all of us. It's about the human ability to overcome, to heal, and to hope. Because if we can rebuild from ground zero, there's nothing we can't achieve. If this story of resilience inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments below. What does the rebuilding of the World Trade Center mean to you? If you believe in the power of hope and human triumph, don't forget to like this video video and subscribe for more inspiring documentaries that remind us what's possible when we come together. Together, we rise.